Hey, this is Amrita. So it's about 5 or 6 weeks since I finished my last fast, and this fast is just beginning to reveal to me the depths of what it has uncovered. And it usually takes me about a month after a fast, or a bit longer, to really feel the kind of greater depths of what the fast has cleared beyond just the physical issues. And really enjoying this chapter of being back with foods again, and just enjoying my ever growingly different connection to foods, finding myself just so happy having fruit for breakfast and a melon for lunch, and then beautiful salad and nori wraps with one of my amazing dressings for dinner, and just finding everything just goes well in my life when I eat like this. And then some days when I eat the heavier stuff, or sometimes the real bad stuff, and it just it's kind of just a reflection of where my emotional state is at, and often on some level of me is just needing to have this stuff at the time, and it's all good. And I'm just loving that it's kind of just an experience at the moment, because I don't feel like I'm dying anymore. It's just a beautiful experience of where I'm at emotionally and what foods I call in, and also what certain foods do to my body. But anyway, where I wanted to go on that is that although I am aware that what I love to eat these days is so much lighter and more vibrant and higher frequency and more colourful than what I've been eating in the past, and I feel really good with it. My belly feels good, my system feels light, my mind feels clear. But I am really becoming aware in the last week or so that the deeper work doesn't happen still, even eating just fruit and veg. I feel if we're coming from a heavier diet, eating lots of meat and dairy and grains, and even kind of the heavier vegetarian and vegan foods like the tofus and all the cacao butter and stuff, I feel this works more on kind of clearing and detoxing on the denser physical issues. Because that's certainly what I was working on, I would say, nearly for the first 9 months of this journey, was just the heavy, the chronic fatigue, the candida, the heart issues, and a very heavy lymphatic stagnation. My legs would feel like lead and be all puffed up. But I'm really feeling now that it's so hard to put into words, like the kind of evolutionary part that detox offers happens just through when the work moves into a much deeper level of the fasting. And yeah, last year, before I had started any of this, I kept getting the message, you need to fast, and I was like, no, I don't need to detox. Sure, I've lived in an ashram, I'm pure. And I kept getting the message, no, you need to fast. And eventually one night I remember really feeling that and feeling, oh shit, yes, it's true, I do need to fast. Okay, but I was so far away from it at the time. I just had such huge fears of the fasting process, because even if I didn't eat for a few hours, I would get lightheaded or headachy, and that's the body already beginning to go into detox. So I felt, oh my gosh, I actually have a lot to clear. This is going to be really hard. And I had a huge fear also of the crash, the inevitable crash of facing how fatigued my adrenals were, how exhausted and kind of fucked up my body was without the constant stimulation of caffeine and sugar and chocolate and all the foods that stimulate as well. So, but but it kind of was choiceless in the end, and then I did find this path of mucus free, which made moving towards feeling able to do a fast a lot easier, because basically when we begin to cut out the foods that create mucus and totally clog up our body, and we begin to cut out the foods that are very acidic to our body, this is basically what a fast does, is remove all the acids and the mucus, but at a very fast pace. So if we begin to cut out these foods ourselves, we're beginning to move this out of our body at a slower pace, a more manageable pace. So that's why finding this path of mucus free and the path of just transitioning was really my lifesaver, because I begun to understand the process of what is actually detoxing, you know, what am I actually detoxing from my body, what foods have been contributing to the toxic state of my body, and able to kind of be at the driver's seat of the pace I wanted to go. So yeah, but back to where I am now, that particularly during my last fast, which was 40 days, towards the end of that, I began to feel the digging deeper effect of the detoxing like never before. I could feel it in the last 10 days. I could feel the detoxing reaching into depths of cells that just I haven't experienced. The craziness of that feeling before. I knew exactly that it was moving deeper, and I was having some very, very strange healing symptoms from that fast, which I had never experienced before, so I knew it was all moving deeper. Very, very interesting. I won't go too much into the symptoms now because it's not really the point, but basically fasting is going to bring up all of our weaknesses, all of the emotional weaknesses that we've been avoiding, and also the physical weaknesses. So while fasting, when crazy things start happening in the body, it's just the weaknesses coming to the surface. And yeah, it's been interesting for me to kind of experience things that other people were speaking about were happening during their fasting, happening to me. Anyway, where I want to go with this is that what I'm beginning to realize these days, or what's coming to me in my world, is that to detox the body is a way of freeing us from the matrix. It's a way of freeing us from society, from heavy karmas, karmas that our lineage has carried, but particularly freeing us from the matrix. I begin to feel that although I know most of us are doing our very, very best to evolve and to grow and to live as beautiful, loving beings, and we are aware of the craziness of this world and this society, and we are aware that often these thoughts of negativity towards ourselves and feeling not good enough and maybe not feeling like part of the crowd, and just not being able to manifest in our life what we need. We're just aware all of these are not really reality. And I know that, you know, a lot of us do work constantly on ourselves to move through this. But what I am experiencing is that from detox, this begins to happen on a cellular level, which I have never experienced before in my life. That what I'm feeling is that as the cells in the body, the cells in the organs, the cells in the extremely important glands in the body begin to be allowed, through us getting out of the way, they begin to be allowed to release all that toxic waste and heaviness and mucus that's in them. then the next thing is they can begin to regenerate. And then when the cells become regenerated, and believe me, I've got a long way to go. This is just touching the surface of what I'm feeling, and it's already so huge for me. But as the cells become free and become able to regenerate, that they become in the frequency of truth of this universe. And I feel that as long as our bodies are clogged up, as our organs and glands are degenerate, that there will be parts of us that are just not in the frequency of truth, and that it will be forever a very deep struggle of our mind and our heart to try and find alignment with living our dreams, with living our soul purpose. So that's what I'm experiencing. Just, I would say, the very tip of the iceberg is this feeling of the clearing work that I've done so far on a year on this path. I begin to feel this constant golden thread of truth. And that's just what's coming to me now, is to call it truth, like reality. And I don't mean my reality, I mean reality beyond what my mind has been tangled and confused into thinking. And I just begin to have these moments of feeling myself breaking out of the kind of the blankets of sleep, of this matrix, of this society. And that's what it feels like. It feels like blankets of sleep are becoming lifted off me. And it's happening quite rapidly, and I feel there's no confusion in me, there's no doubt that it is exactly related to detoxing the cells. So I'll definitely share more about this when it becomes more clear to me. Now I'm just kind of humbly and so gratefully riding this wave. And just one other thing I wanted to touch on was using supplements and herbal tinctures and, pharmaceuticals to deal with our physical issues. I feel there's like the unconscious and conscious way to use these, and obviously the most unconscious way to use these is just to go to the doctor and he'll give you the pills or the antibiotics or the high blood pressure tablets or the laxatives, and you go home and take them and you don't think about your physical issue anymore. Less unconscious than that is tuning into the more natural supplements and superfoods to support our body's organs and to help with this and that. But, and I've been there for a long time, taking all my probiotics and superfoods and herbs and everything to support this and that, because I was aware of what was out in my body to a point. But I begin to really feel more and more this level of so many things that we do or that I've done or still do that is still in this frequency of sleep compared to the lifting off the blankets that I'm experiencing, that detoxification path brings. And in regards to taking supplements and herbal formulas, there's definitely a place for them. But for me, the conscious place for them is, first, it's not just like, okay, we know probiotics are good for our gut, we've got gut issues, or we're taking a formula for our adrenals because we know they're down. But the conscious use of this is to first question, why are these organs degenerate? And then to be actively at the same time doing work to regenerate them, which is the detoxification process. And how it works is, first we need to get out of the way and don't put anything else in the body, and let it clean out the old stuff for a little period of time, and then we can rebuild with these supplements and superfoods and tonics. But unless we are doing the investigation and the work at the same time to really discover why they are degenerate, from what foods, what lifestyle, and actively doing the work to regenerate them, that we're still in this not wanting to wake up fully, both to the magnificence of this body. And a beautiful friend used to say this to me, and sometimes it would offend me, but it was very good. He used to say, we're still all attached to the nipple. That it's like this feeling, it's not a deliberate sleep, but it's this kind of vibration, it's this frequency, and we are moving higher collectively, and we are breaking out of it. But it takes, in my opinion, well, in my experience, for me in this journey, it takes actually having to go there with detoxing, with having to go there to the crash, this feeling of crash of how exhausted the body is, how degenerate all the organs are. And it takes going there, letting go of all these things from outside of our system, all man-made things, letting go of it all, because just coming back to our, actually coming to be with exactly who we are, what state we are in right now, because that's the beginning of the awakening, and that's the starting point of where we can just really let go what's not ours and then rebuild. And I think it takes that level of journeying with our systems to completely let go of kind of keeping ourselves together. It takes, because that keeping ourselves together is still playing the game, and it takes that level of let go to break open a little slit in that blanket of the matrix. So I hope that makes sense. It's still very difficult for me to put into words. But what an incredible journey it is, and I'm feeling this call of kind of wanting to fast again, because I'm really feeling that just eating the fruits and veg just does not do this deep, incredible shifting work like the fasting. But at the same time, I feel it's really important just to be with food for a while and see how it emerges and evolves, and just make this path sustainable for life. So that's kind of what I wanted to share in kind of a higgledy-piggledy, unrehearsed, just press record kind of way. Just in a nutshell, that we can be doing this work a little bit, dipping in and out of eating a bit more fruit or so, but if your system is feeling the call, the deeper stuff emerges with the deeper work. It really, really, really does. And I don't mean to sound like a school teacher or something, saying you put in the work, you get the better grades. But I do feel in this path of detoxification that when you do put in the work, it does unfold. And the work obviously is not just all fasting, because it's also clearing, it's emotional, vibrational frequency. It's clearing so much that the work is on all levels. But that is really, really coming to me. Now it's coming to me more in a joyful way, since I've experienced the crash and kind of the hell that it was for me at the beginning of this journey that was much needed. So if you're beginning your journey, please don't feel that like you have to dive into this deep fast to get the deep results. You know, your work right now could be the transition path, and that's going to bring a lot. It's going to bring a lot. And we just need to follow where our souls are calling and guiding us, because not everyone is going to be attracted to this path. A lot won't be attracted because it is too much work. It is too much surrendering and let go, and there can be a lot of fear there. And yeah, it can be difficult from, you know, where our lifestyle is at, and, you know, generally families and partners and friends are not, you know, cannot be so supportive to this kind of work, because it does involve us crashing and potentially being a little bit useless for a while. But in the bigger picture, you know, this is just still, it's again, to be crashed and useless for a while is again this work of freeing us from this matrix. It is so deep how this matrix and this society, it has run into our souls and our beings. And yeah, I'm so grateful to constantly keep meeting beautiful beings in this world, and we're all doing our work, some in the same ways and some in different ways, but we are all working together to just co-create a better life, and a better life for the next generation, and a heaven on earth for us now. So sending so much love, and yeah, and a message and a blessing to live your nectar.